Good morning. My role as a company secretary is to ensure that my clients are in legal and regulatory compliance, and part of that role is to submit information to Companies House, which then becomes publicly available. So I thought I'd just go through some of the information that's there. So what information is there? For all companies, you've got the name of the company and also whether you could be permitted to use a name for a company, a trademark, a brand. You'd only be permitted if there wasn't an existing company. You'd get the location of the company, presuming they're using their trading address as a registered office. You'd get the trade or the industry that the company is working in. You'd get the management, so you'd find out who the directors are, be them executive or non-exec, who the shareholders are. And a new piece of legislation that came in since last April is you will also get anyone who owns more than 25%, the person actually behind that. So if a company is owned by a trust, you will now understand who actually controls that trust. And equally, if a company is owned by a subsidiary of another company, you will find out which subsidiary that is. I'm sure you're all aware, financial information, every limited company has to file accounts at Companies House. Another thing that can be quite important, if someone doesn't seem quite right, you can also find out if someone's a bankrupt or a disqualified director. Obviously, we wouldn't want to do business with them. Why? Why would you want to do this? To protect yourself against non-compliance, so making sure that you are doing what you should be doing. And equally, bottom line's missing actually, which is fraud, to make sure no one else is doing things allegedly on your behalf. Follow and keep ahead of your competitors. So, get your competitors' financials as soon as they're available so you can take a look at them, see where they're at. Find out if they've, had major changes on their board. Obtain names of decision makers and know who you're dealing with. As we all know, anyone can have a job title that says director, but are they actually the director? Or are they just proposing to be someone they are? Are they the person you should be dealing with? Should they have signed that contract? Or is there actually someone else that's really the person that you should be dealing with? And find new opportunities. You can search for new suppliers, you can search for new clients, you can look for acquisitions. All those things that you need are limited companies. They're all out there. There's a lot of information about them. How do you do this? So Companies House have a really good service, which they were calling Monitor, but they seem to be calling it Follow now, or both. And that's a great service. You tell them which companies you're interested in, and every time that company makes a filing, the next day you get an email saying XYZ has filed this account, or the director has resigned. So it's you don't have to do anything, it just comes straight into your inbox, read it, delete it, whatever. There's another application called proof filing, which is you saying to Companies House, I don't want anyone to be able to send you a bit of paper with my squiggle allegedly on it. I only want people who have the secure company code to be able to make filings electronically. So that's a good way to protect yourself. Web filing, if you log in with web filing, you need your company's authentication code. You can then go in there and you can put in as many email, I think it's about 5 or 6 email addresses. Those people will get sent reminders when the company confirmation statement's due, when the accounts are due for filing. So if you are not personally taking responsibility for that, it's a good way just to ensure that you know what's going on. And again, it's a free service, straight into your inbox, very usable. I mentioned earlier finding out what trade or industry a company's in. Every company has what we call a standard industrial classification. It's about 3,000-4,000 of these codes, so they can be very specific. Unfortunately, there is always an other, as there is, but you can quite easily identify, if you want to look at a certain sector or competitors, you can quite easily identify which companies it is that you need to focus on without obviously having to know the name, etc. And this sort of ties back really nicely to the IoD. I don't know how many people are familiar with the advisory service, but this is the kind of thing they can do for you. You can say, I want all companies in this location with this standard industrial classification. They will pull it down for you, filter out the stuff you don't need, and give it to you in a very manageable format that you can look at and start to make sense of, because obviously I don't expect you to spend an hour on Companies House every day. You don't know one has the time for that. And there's just a couple of links there. Companies House and the insolvency is not under Companies House. It's a slightly different structure. So I've rattled through that because I only had 4 minutes, but if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask me or drop me an email, do you want links, etc.
Super, well done you.